I'd like to call this meeting to order at the Board of Pelletier Commissioners. It's 6:35, Monday, April the 11th. Roll call.
Walter Vincent.
Here.
Dan Taylor.
Here.
Dale Sowers.
Here.
Sonny Mason.
Here.
David Bragg. Tim Quinn.
Here.
Here, a motion to excuse Mr. Bragg.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's all stand for the pledge and invocation. Hopefully Walter will do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag
State.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Walter, will you lead us in prayer?
Father God, we come tonight praising you and honoring you and loving you, dear God, for what you do for us. We thank you especially for this town and for the leaders and for all the citizens. We pray, Lord, that you be with us in this meeting tonight and everything that we do and we say, we hope is in your will and for the government of this town. We ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. All right, everybody has the agenda in front of them. If there's no changes, do I hear a motion to accept the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of the minutes of the February 5th, 2024 meeting. Hopefully you had time to read the minutes. If there's no changes, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as written?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, department's report. Code Enforcement Officer, Lieutenant Chris Jensen.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you this evening? Start off with, I'll start off with this. Today happens to coincide. This is my 20th year in law enforcement. This today.
Acceptance speech.
I'll be expecting the gold watch to be in there.
I'll paint one up for you.
All right, just starting out. February is a very quiet month for your town, from code enforcement to police calls. It's basically just I've been going around trying to tweak up everything that's been in the pan forever. For example, our friend down the road who owns the lawnmower parts store, I was explaining to some of you during the meeting break. I went and spoke with him probably 3-4 weeks ago, but the fire inspector had already been there, and the man's definitely afraid of the fire inspector. So when I caught wind of his fear, I became his buddy, and I talking him through how he could, help him with the code enforcement officer. And anyway, it's been working out. If you go by, all that vines that were growing up on the building have never been cleared. He's getting the building ready for paint. He's definitely getting ready for the fire inspections because he's definitely afraid of the fire inspector. There's a woman in the back that's been living in the camper. She has an autistic daughter. She'll be out in 3 days. I've given her 3 more days, but she's got to be out 3 days or I'm going to have her thing towed out of here. If she's in it, then so be it. So that's that. All right, so we've got that one down. There was another man on Mr. Sonny's Road there, Mills Branch Court, who's having some code enforcement issues. I've been dealing with him over the past couple of months, and he seems to be getting his stuff together at this point, and which is a great thing. We can move on from there with him. There's another person down the Mills Branch Road there. And that's 209, if I'm not mistaken. They had an overdose death there not too long ago. We just busted a person out of there about 2 weeks ago who had a bunch of warrants. He obtained a bunch of new warrants because he had a bunch of new drugs that we caught him with. And I believe he was a federal fugitive as well. We hemmed him up. Yeah, right next door.
Nice.
Yeah. And the person that I handed out the last 30-day notice to, turns out wasn't the owner of the property. So I ran into this little snafu. So I think I have the right owner at this point. But so just to get around this, I posted the door as I handed it to the person that claimed it was their house. That way, at least the house has been served with the 30-day notice. So legally, I think that suffices for a good service. So that was a week ago. So 3 more weeks, I'm gonna start hitting up them with fines. Now my fines are just gonna be for vegetation and overgrowth, but it's a starting block anyway. And I've not been able to catch anybody living in the camper. You know, it's all hooked up and everything. I know somebody's staying out in it. I can't catch it. I've been out there a few nights, about 2, 3 in the morning, and I can't catch them.
They're sporadic.
Yeah. I think it's when people are all kinds of messed up, that's where they go to sleep. I think is what it is. All right, 124 Pettifer Road. This is kind of in the center of the Pettifer Loop. If you don't make the first left, keep going down straight. These people, they've been on the list before. They've gotten their stuff cleaned before. She has a couple overgrown kids that like to break into the neighbor's house when he's not in town. It's that house. And this time I'm not getting any response from anybody that lives in there, so they'll be in the fine phase probably within a week. I think I have to check my dates, but I think it's a week. And that'll be the first one in the fine phase since my cleanup efforts there in December when we got 4 at once, which was a good little lick. Also, I got an email. This is kind of an aside, a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but I went and looked anyway. The complaint originated from Mr. Henry at 107 Deaton Drive. He's the man with the pipe that runs under Pettifer Road, drainage ditch pipe, and it's blocked. And the other end of the pipe runs into the town of Pelletier's property. And his major gripe is that, well, the town of Pelletier is kind of crushed in on the town side, so he's willing to fix half if the town fix. That's your business, that isn't my business, but I went and looked at it anyway. And the only thing I fear is that if this keeps going unattended, that road's gonna crumble underneath it. Because I went and walked the property and took some pictures, and I sank 12 inches into the ground and ruined a good pair of shoes. So that's that on that.
Was
All
that
right.
his property that you walked?
No, I sank in the Pelletier property. His property I didn't sink into, but his, in fairness, his hill, his ditch was a little steep, and I would have slid down it anyway. So that's why I did the Pelletier property side.
Gotcha.
All right, now let's get on to the sheriff business calls. We had 35 calls for service here in the town, 22 calls for service in the ETJ. So 57 calls. That's gonna be the lowest month of the year, I guarantee you. And it's the same stuff. It's your domestics and the standalone drug thing that we did there on Mills Branch Court. But it's the same general crime that happens day in, day out. Also, I did want to bring up another issue Mr. Ronald brings up with his neighbor. I've got to put her back on my list, and I've already been in contact with her and called her up and asked her what she must have missed me because now I'm back in her life again. I went back there and toured that property about 2 weeks ago, and it was clean at one point, and now it is definitely not again. So I got to go deal with that again. Doesn't look as bad as last time. Should be easy enough to fix, but we'll check it out. But I'm working on that as well this month. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who did the ditch cleanup?
Oh, on my list of like 27 people.
Yeah, who cut my ditch?
Who cut your ditch? I have no idea who cut your ditch.
I mean, the bush around it.
I don't know. Somebody cut it?
Mr. Taylor, Mr. Taylor, I believe it was Sunland according to the county people.
All right? Who'd I complain to get the trash moved off the thing?
I would call the county and tell them they came out and cleaned your ditch and they left the brush there.
Okay.
Just so that didn't work.
They were contracted with.
I have to go to the office tomorrow. I kind of feel responsible because I was nudging the county to kind of get something done down there. So I'll talk to them and see if they can't get the refuse people to come around. But that's not to say make the call to you. All right, just we'll hit them both and if they don't do it,
What division of the county did I
if they
call?
don't do it, I'll come by and bring my pickup and I'll get it for you. All right, any other questions? No, good?
I rode down
Sir?
by Mr. Ronald's and I see what you went and seen, and it's pretty bad down there. I mean,
Yeah.
they, at one time, I think it was okay. It's always kind of been
It's
a little sketchy, but
it always looked like the surface of the main, but she
Right.
had cleaned it up where the trash was gone.
yeah, now it's
And now
pretty
it's
trashed.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there was, I noticed I think it was three, I counted junk vehicles, which I would consider to be junk vehicles.
But thank you for getting involved in that, because I went down after our last meeting and looked at it a couple of days later, because Mr. Ronald asked me to.
Yeah, and that's strictly in the ordinance with the junk vehicles and the like, but. Am I allowed to give a minute of my time to Mr. Ronald? Seems like he wants to say something.
Just real quick then, Ron.
She's encroaching on the other man's property. She piled a lot of that stuff
And he's right,
back over on the other man's lot. All that is not her lot.
Okay.
yeah, that's that, yeah. So I'll be dealing with that.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you.
All right. Next is West Carteret Fire and EMS report. And we get the con one first. I guess the mean one goes second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and board and citizens. For the month of February, February, it was extremely busy. February, of course, is a winter month that is usually not that busy for us, not to mention the fact that, of course, February is a short month. However, be that as it may, we ran 167 calls compared to last year when we ran 127 calls in the month of February. So we ran 40 more calls than we did the previous year, and we're over the average for February for the last 5 to 6 years. So January was also very busy, if you'll remember. So we're on par right now. If in my calculations, we're on par to run very close to 2,100 calls for the year. For the town of Pelletier, we had 19 EMS calls, 3 fire-related, and 3 were other, for a total of 25. Again, a total of 167 throughout the entire district. 126 of those were EMS calls, 19 were fire-related, 4 were motor vehicle crashes or some type of a rescue situation, and then 18 were others. Our averages, percentage-wise, fall right in line with the averages for the whole country nationwide at about 75% EMS calls, and then 20 to 25% with everything else, including fire. We did have 2 structural or building fires during the month of February, one in our own district and one that we responded to mutual aid or auto aid to another community. 14 calls out of the 167, or a little over 8% of the responses, were mutual aid or auto aid to our neighboring communities. That doesn't include EMS standbys, which we did not have any EMS standbys to Onslow. And we only, as you all remember, I'm sure those of you who are here for the meetings, the EMS calls to Onslow County have dropped off dramatically. We had 3 EMS calls to Onslow County and no EMS calls to Jones County during the month of February. Again, in the chart that we put in the back of the report, it goes month by month, and we were 21 calls over in January. Over last year, we were 40 calls over for this year. And as I said, if we continue at that pace, we'll be very close to 2,100 calls for the entire year. Mr. Penrod, I was going to let him comment on 1106, especially. I know Chris already commented on it. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
So the thorn in your side has been addressed, and basically what we did in November, we gave him 30, 60, 90 days. So the fire code is, it gives me the ability to say today's the day or how I can work with it. He had a lot of stuff to take care of. We originally thought that the building was going to be sold and he was moving out. That changed. So the building owner raised the rent $500 and wasn't going to do anything to the building. So he knew in December that if he did not meet the fire code 30, 60, 90 days, at the end of 90 days, which is March 18, that I would go to get an administrative warrant and pull the power on the building. And that building will not be able to pass electrical inspection. So fire code gives us that opportunity to do that, and that's how we enforce it. He is, he's working overtime out there. I'll give him credit. He's cleaning up most of the stuff. I'm gonna do a courtesy walkthrough tomorrow, see where he's at. Electrical is really the big thing now. That's his biggest fire hazard, but I can tell you that they have fixed all the ceiling holes. They put new sheetrock up. I can't believe they're spending all this money in the building, but hey, that's between him and the owner. The only thing I did do is I placed him on a 6-month of fire inspection rotation. So we're doing everybody every year now instead of 1, 2, and 3 years. It just, people are coming and going too quick. So 1 year made more sense to do all of our businesses that way. So he's gonna be on a 6-month rotation. So if he doesn't meet the fire code, he's gonna have to go through the same thing again. So I appreciate Lieutenant Jensen being the good guy this time. He don't get an opportunity to be that very often. I don't get an opportunity to be the bad guy. So either way, you know, we're following what the North Carolina Fire Code allows, following the general statutes, and just trying to make it safer. I know it's an eyesore, and it is getting better. I think everybody's been by there and probably was surprised to see the amount of work that was there. So, just trying to, you know, make it safer.
Well, we appreciate what y'all have done.
Thank you.
So he stays pretty busy, as you can tell. During the month, he had a total of 33 inspections that he completed. 11 of those were in Pelletier, and in fact, Pelletier had the most inspections done during the month of February. Total, let's see, smoke detectors. He did 5 for the month of February. Plan reviews or plan review type work, 4. Knox box, 8. Fire prevention, February is generally an off month for fire prevention. However, he did stay kind of busy with that, as well as he spoke with, was that 6 groups of 17 or was that 6 individuals? 6 groups. 6 groups in the children under age 17 category. 1 Safe Kids and Fire and Life Safety Education Program. And 1 time we used our fire safety trailer, or fire safety house as we call it. He did have a total of 2 complaints, or 7 complaints. 2 of those were in Pelletier. A lot of times his complaint may be illegal burns, things like that. Fire protection system checkout, looks like he had 1 for the month. Training hours for the month was 25, miscellaneous meetings 1, and fire code research hours 6. So he stays pretty busy. He doesn't get a lot of time to sit down, just like most of us in our department. There's not a lot of off time. except at night if we get lucky and don't have to run all night. But anyway, that's my report for the month of February. Are there any questions?
Just one thing, we was able to receive a small grant for carbon monoxide detectors. So we've had a smoke detector program for a number of years. I think we have about 35 smoke detectors right now. With the grant that I got and the help from the Lowe's manager, we have 14 carbon monoxide detectors. So if someone in the community needs a carbon monoxide detector, they just need to get in contact with me. I go out and evaluate the house and see what they need. And we can put a carbon monoxide detector in their house free of charge. So kind of make it a little
Okay.
bit safer.
And also,
Sounds good.
for the board as well as all of the citizens, that smoke detector program and carbon monoxide program, all they have to do, if they know someone, if you know someone who needs smoke detectors, it could be a family that just can't afford them, or somebody whose smoke detectors just went bad, or whatever this case may be, all they have to do is contact it. If they can't afford a smoke detector, we'll get them smoke detectors. So we have that program in place. I don't think the state actually has a program anymore, do they?
They do, but you can't get smoke detectors from them, so I found another way to get smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors.
So we're taking care of that. We want to make sure that, and that means that's everybody from living in a big stick-built house to the smallest RV. I don't care. We want them to have smoke detectors because there's nothing in our business that saves lives more than smoke detectors do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next is our financial report.
Well, we have $251,765.99 in general account, $33,438.28 in power fund, and we are working on next year's budget. Trying to get some figures together for that. And that's coming along.
Yes, sir. Any questions? All right.
We're gonna raise the tax.
Planning report.
We referred the contingency of the LIW onto you guys for approval, and we tabled the mobile home and sidewalk ordinance on that tomorrow.
Okay. Commissioners report. Commissioner Quinn.
I only have one thing. Back in October, we talked about the shed ordinance, and we were going to add some additional language to it, and still haven't seen hide nor hair of it.
Okay. Son.
I'm good.
Good.
Walter, you have anything else?
Well, the animal control ordinance we've been working on, we're talking about, Brett we got this from him. I just got this today, I actually have to look at it too, but I think what we've got the county's ordinance, and I think our next step is to contact with the county, get in contact with the county to see if they will do this for us, and if they won't, and how much they will cost for us, for them to do it. So who do I see? Do I see the county manager?
Or you can ask Sheriff Buck.
Yeah, I can ask, I'll call Axel and see what we need to do, but we will try to get this something for the next meeting, and maybe have something an answer about whether the county is going to be doing our animal control or not, or we're going to have to appropriate money for that or whatever. But we'll have something by the next meeting.
Okay. Carlton,
Yes.
didn't we do something about the shed?
We did,
I was trying to think.
back for some reason, and I'm thinking that it was because
Tie down.
the tie-down requirements, there were questions about it not falling under zoning.
Well, the
I
tie downs follow under building code, but it only follows under a certain size building. unless the building has one wall that's 12 foot or bigger. You know, but, I mean, the town can require tie downs, you know, and once the town requires the tie downs, and we have a copy of the ordinance and all, then I'll present it to the building inspectors,
Okay,
and they will enforce it.
okay. Yeah, let me, I already made a note about the check on it, but I'll pull off what I tried to have passed last time. I'll run it by them.
Okay.
The main reason we went back on it was safety and flooding hazards.
Okay. All right, mayor's report, Mr. Bragg, like I said, couldn't be here. So, he wanted to make a couple changes. One change is to the contract. Let me find the contract. All right, which is their requirements. Their requirements were from the roadside to the center of the ditch, but we want to make sure it's from the roadside to the center of the ditch or 15 foot, whichever is greater. Okay, so he wanted to make that change, and then do away with the registered landscape contractor, and just make sure his certificate of insurance is provided to the town. And I think,
That's what mowing is over.
yes, this is mowing the streets. And the scope of work is the same, you know, and, you know, is the board okay with that change? To the scope of work and to the contract, all the rest will stay the same, other than the contact will be David Bragg.
Got no problem with it.
I don't either.
Do I hear a motion to approve the changes to the contract?
Make a motion to approve the changes in the
Is this to
contract.
put it out of bid?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, our attorney isn't here tonight because, you know, he's also the attorney for Cape Carter. And then the third week of a month, he's the attorney for Onslow County. Now, next month, April 1st, is Easter Monday, you know, so we would miss him again. And, you know, which is fine if y'all are okay with that. The next meeting will be on the 8th. If not, the only other way to do it would be to move it to the Tuesday, April the 2nd. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention that Brett isn't here tonight and he won't be here next month, even though Jonathan, who fills in for him, will be here next month if we decide to have it on the 8th. And the reason Jonathan isn't with us tonight, because his wife had a baby this morning.
That's
So-
more important.
So Brett called me and said he was gonna send another attorney from their firm down here, and I said, there's no need sending someone down here who has no earthly idea what's going on or who in the heck we are. So anyhow, if y'all are okay with Jonathan being here next month, then we'll leave it at April the 8th. But if y'all want Brett here, we would have to change it. And I would have to check with him to see if he could come Tuesday the 2nd.
Do we foresee anything where we would, that we might need the lawyer here for that night? I know we can't see that far ahead, but
I don't see it. I mean, it's 4 weeks out, so
I mean, anything.
as of right now, I would say whatever's gotta be handled, Jonathan could handle it next month. If there's questions that need to be asked, I think the biggest thing is the planning board will have questions.
So if there is something come up and we need the attorney's opinion, and we're not satisfied with Jonathan's, we can table whatever it is to the next video.
Yes.
You're saying right now, let's go April the 8th?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that why, one, we don't have an attorney here tonight, and two, why Brett will miss next month as well, so. Okay,
No problem with it.
all right then. All right, then we'll move on to new, business. We got, charges, for our town fees. So anyhow, hopefully everybody had a chance to look them over. Where's that one of mine? See what I've had. Only one that I would probably go up a little bit more on would be the rezone.
Petition for rezone,
Yeah,
525 first proposed, do you change it to something else?
yeah, to at least 550. I think we charge, what, 500 now, B? 250, isn't it? So at least 550. The rest of them seem to be fine with me. You have any comments you want to make, Carlton?
Yes, really quickly. There's a notice in the front door about this, and specifically because of the subdivision fees. 160D requires that if there is an increase or imposition of subdivision fees, that there needs to be at least a 7-day, a notice at least 7 days prior, which we've gone way beyond that. So there's a notice in the front door, there's a notice on the website. But during the consideration of the imposition or increase in the fees, specifically subdivision fees, there needs to be a period of public comment. So I guess if you could have just open the floor, public comment specifically about this, and if there's no issue, then you can proceed.
Okay, so we're gonna open the floor right now for public comments, only dealing with the proposed fee schedule. We'll run down them real quick. Residential, or these are zoning permits. Residential, $75. Commercial and industrial, $375. Signs, $85. Wind energy facilities, $1,000. Special use application, $450. A rezone petition, that's the one I just asked to change for $550. UDO.
Oh yeah, the text amendment.
What's UDO?
I think you have an old copy. I have a petition for ordinance text amendment.
Okay.
UDO is Unified Development Ordinance, but the latest copy I have just has ordinance text amendment.
Okay.
That was kind of an oversight the previous was brought up.
All right, that would be $450. A variance, $450. appeal administrative decision, 500. Zoning certificate certification letter, 100. Major subdivisions. Sketch design plans, 375. Preliminary plat review, 500. Final plat review, 375. Minor subdivision review, 245. Subdivision exemption review, 115. So that is the fees. So we're just gonna open the floor up to anybody to make any comments on this.
I wanna, you said major subdivision, 350, 375, right? Something about a major subdivision.
That's the first sketch designs,
Oh,
when
just
they
the-
first
Because it
come.
just seems that it's a major subdivision, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yet it's 500 for.
That's the preliminary when they
Okay, so
come
then
in.
they'll pay, because it seems like, yeah, they should pay more.
There's three steps.
Yeah, you,
Okay,
by the time it's done, it's 3 charges to it.
okay, just
It's
curious.
a three-step process.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else?
Just a little $1,200.
Yes, sir.
What was that?
So $1,200 for the
Okay.
conservative.
Now, why the stiff charge for the alternate energy?
That's,
I can explain, it has a very involved, review process. And I tried to, I based all these numbers on what are similar, like what are similar charges in surrounding municipalities. And yeah, the wind energy facility is, it's a very detailed, it's a long and difficult process to get through. That's why I thought 1,000 would be reasonable. And I know it's a lot higher than the other ones, but I was basing it on the estimated time I think we would all be putting into this versus, just that, not versus it.
and the reason we're doing this is to help some of the costs for our planner and our attorney and stuff. So that's why we're upping the fee on this. Good. Phil, did you have something?
Well, it's a generic type question. So it's based on plan review time for our planner.
Yes.
This is a fee schedule that's charged when someone submits a permit for whatever, and it's based on average time. Okay.
Plus we have attorney's fees too, that's not, the attorney and he work together, so it's to help cover some of those costs.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we got this now. We will need a public hearing for this to make the changes.
It's not in the, it wouldn't involve a text amendment, so that notice, I believe, is all we need. And that was
Okay.
specifically just for the subdivision, fee changes. Now, if you want to change the fees again, with the upcoming budget, you can without, you change the subdivision fees again if you wanted to, without having to do a notice. But no, we won't, we shouldn't have to have a public hearing.
Okay, so we can go ahead and change the fees now.
Yeah, if you'd like to change it with amending the petition for rezoning on from 525 to 550, that'd be fine.
Okay. All right, with the change to the rezone from 525 to 550, does the board want to, someone want to make a motion to approve with that change?
I will.
I'll second it.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. See, that was one way we can generate a little more money without having to raise taxes. That's what was trying to do.
Okay, so we're accepting this, so if somebody calls tomorrow
And one's a zoning permit. We're going by these new rates.
Yes, ma'am.
Effective. Okay.
Even if they called last week, they hadn't paid for it.
They ain't paid for it, they get the new rate.
It's better in our pocket than in
I
theirs.
told two people that. If you're unsure of it, you better do it now, because we are definitely having a rate increase. Just get it in here before I left the other day. That's one of the ones you got.
You should have locked the door. All right, we got a change to LIW ordinance. We had dropped, that's next on the list here. That was in our ordinance book, it was page 119. Anyhow, it was to eliminate any solid waste, yard debris, any dump site of any sort in our town. And I believe you found on another page, what was that other page? Do you
It's right
recall?
below.
It was actually.
It's on the same page right below it.
Yeah, it was in the same section of the LIW Light Industrial District. There's two amendments or two changes to this section, 3014 and LIW Light Industrial District. The first change is removing the solid waste management facilities as a permitted use or a use permitted by right. And then there's another change within the same section where it was allowed as a special use.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's the amendment being considered. It's just a change to the LIW Industrial District, removing solid waste management facilities as an allowable use.
It's right at the bottom of the same page that you have there. And it's like 1 through 5. We want to remove all of that to make sure we don't have any dump sites come up within Pelletier. So now you have a consistency
Yes.
statement?
Yes, and it was given to me, we can consider it submitted to the governing board. Let me, all right. Actually, let me read it. It's considered submitted. I recommend doing this in two motions. First motion to accept the consistency, whether to accept the consistency statement, and the second motion on whether to accept the
Changes.
amendment.
Okay.
So, I'll just do the same thing I did last time. This is, I'll read through this consistency
Does that
statement.
have a hearing first, public hearing first?
Yes, we do, we can do it in either order. We can open it up for public hearing right now.
I'm just asking.
Have we,
The final decision has to be,
we've already,
We've advertised, everything's ready.
everything's ready for it?
mhm.
Okay, well, first read the consistency statement.
All right, well, I explained to everyone the purpose of the amendment. So the consistency statement, which was, you just saw approved by, and signed by the planning board, is that this is the town Pelletier planning board recommendation, consistency statement, the zoning text amendment to remove solid waste management facilities as a permitted use and special use within the LIW Light Industrial District. The removal of the solid waste management facilities as an allowable use is made with reasonable consideration of the community's suitability for this use. The community is primarily characterized as residential, and residential uses along with many compatible and desirable non-residential uses are particularly sensitive to the potential negative externalities of solid waste management facilities. The community's planning and development jurisdiction is relatively small and geographically constrained, so there is not sufficient space to separate these incompatible uses. Therefore, it is in the best interest of the community to prevent this use. The proposed amendment is consistent with the Carteret County Campbell Land Use Plan. Major development of an urban nature should be concentrated in developed and limited transition areas. The proposed use will be to be removed as not compatible with major development of an urban nature. The plan opposes the establishment of toxic waste dump sites. Hazardous waste management facility is listed under the special use of solid waste management facilities. The planning board recommends approval of this amendment. So that is the, sorry, I had to read all of that out again, but that is the recommendation for the planning board. If you would like to adopt that as your own statement, you just make a motion after we do the public hearing.
All right. All right, if everybody, is okay with, the reasoning to make these changes, these amendments, do I hear a motion to go into public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, we're in public hearing. Does anybody in the public like to say something on this?
I have a question. So this is just a concern, and I just want to make sure we're protected. So obviously, years ago, Tri-County bought that property, and then Emerald Isle supposedly is only doing 2 acres. Does this prevent us? Can they come back retroactively and say, well, we want to expand, like Emerald Isle, like they want to expand that property? And I just want to know that, can they come, because Tri-County bought that so long ago with obviously intent. And does this protect us from lawsuit? Well, obviously anybody can sue you, but do you feel like, according to the attorney, does this protect this property from being used in a way that hurts public here?
Well, it's gonna be a non-conforming use now, so if they sought approval to expand it, then the town could say no because it's a non-conforming use.
After the fact, they can say no. They can say no now, even if they had
Yes.
something on paper that we don't know about.
Well, I mean, it depends on what they have.
Well, yes, it was their intentions on putting a yard debris, construction debris site there. But that was back in 2007.
Okay.
Well, now this is 2024.
Okay.
So that's been, what, 17 years?
7 years.
So that things change, so
I just want to know that we're really protected.
I don't think they would have a legal argument.
Did they originally seek a special use permit for the site? They didn't. Did they submit a site plan?
We just did it.
They just
No,
didn't?
And
all
they
they
did.
did, the only thing that they did that they can say is I think they might have talked to the board or someone on the board at that time. Would they allow that to happen, before they bought the land?
Yeah.
But like I say, that was 2007.
Is there a record of the development approval?
No.
somewhere?
No development,
Okay.
just the land purchase is all
Okay.
that happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they didn't do a site plan on it, they can't expand it
No,
without.
they didn't do a site plan or nothing.
Back to her question, can Emerald Isle come back now and say we want to enlarge ours?
No.
Because Emerald Isle played a game. They were trying to do 8 acres, and then by that, we did an ordinance, but even if that wasn't passed, the state has requirements other than over 2 acres.
Yes.
So then all of a sudden, they're like, we're not gonna go 2 acres, but the state also said, if you're storing a truck, if you're having anything else related, that counts as those 2 acres. But I feel like they pulled a fast one, and so I just wanna make sure.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
yes,
The
yes.
same facility?
Yes.
So
yes.
Emerald Isle,
Emerald Isle is leased 8 acres
Emerald has leased the 2 acres.
from the owner.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't own any of it.
And with 2, you don't need a permit.
Is it 8 acres or 2 acres?
Anything
They
over
only
2,
two.
then they're violating
That's how they
the
got
state.
away with it, because they
Right.
kept it 2 acres.
They only did 2
Right,
acres
okay.
because
Right.
I would think they could just continue along with, as long as they don't go over 2 acres.
As long as they
Yeah.
don't go over 2, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
What is the deal on logging? I read Brad's
No. You're off subject.
Well, it's
We're on,
pertaining to the land that we're talking about.
Well, anybody can log their property.
Okay, well, that was my question is.
Okay.
A contract was submitted, so once it's logged, there's still nothing they can do
No.
after it's cleared as to expanding their.
Without a site project plan.
Okay.
Gotta have a site plan.
Like I say, anybody can log their property. That's that's like money in their pockets in a
Yeah,
way.
but the intent to
So-
log was the intent to expand.
I don't know, they just sold their timber, so they did,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, they wanted some revenue, I don't know.
Well,
To
if,
expand, the timbers had to be moved, though. That was my question.
the thing is, if you let it stand there too long, they probably were worried about the pine beetles and stuff like that getting in them, and then
That'd
they
be trash.
lose it all. You know. All right. Any more about the LIW ordinance? Do I hear a motion to go out of public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Well, public hearing. Now, do I hear a motion to accept the consistency plan? Consistency plan.
Contingency.
Whatever it is.
Contingency plan. I've had a hard time with it, Dale, and I finally got it down.
Consistency statement. Okay.
Whatever it is.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve that darn thing. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now,
Have we got to vote on anything else?
yes, we do.
You got one more. Special use.
Do I hear a motion to vote on the changes to the LIW ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're through that. Thanks.
That was exhausting.
So now we got,
Number one.
so it has been taken out of our,
Second. They
Well,
said.
that's good. That means they can't do nothing else up
They
there.
did you second.
makes
Yeah.
no difference.
With my head down, you
Now,
sunny sounds.
Public comments for anything
quick
else?
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor, for getting those lights up. I want to say it publicly on Pelletier Loop. There was over a mile stretch of no lights, total darkness, and you had that in record time within 2 weeks. And people are noticing because there are people that walk on the streets at night and ride bikes and just thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, there's deer up there now, I say, thank you for the lights, but it's real dark in here before.
The family, I saw them.
I went,
Yeah, we couldn't see the jump.
I went by there one night, I think there was 12 or 15.
Oh,
I had to stop and then get across the street. And after the lights came up, I haven't seen them. Maybe they didn't have the lights.
All right, anybody else? Okay. No old business, no other business. Commissioner's comment. Commissioner Quinn?
There you go. What you did.
I'm good.
Nothing this time.
The transportation, the sidewalks.
Well, we already got,
I forgot about that.
yeah, but I got
You
a
did take-
committee
okay.
together. Yep. Okay. I have a motion to adjourn. All, there's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Find me in a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Good.
Any opposed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right on over my head.
Meeting's adjourned.